The GoPro Hero 4K camera, designed to be affordable and super compact. I'm going to show you what comes inside the box with the Hero 4K, and then I'll take you through all the menus on the screen on the back of this camera. And finally, I'll show you some video that I shot with the GoPro Hero 4K. Here's the brand new GoPro Hero 4K in the box. This thing looks like it's pretty cool. It's one of the smallest GoPros they've ever made and one of the lightest GoPros they've ever made as well. Some trade-offs to get that size and weight down. First of all, there is no removable battery. The battery's built into this and it's rechargeable. That might be an issue for some people. And something else you won't get in the camera is built-in stabilization. The stabilization is done after you transfer your videos over to your phone. I'll talk more about that and show you a sample of that. So I'm gonna get this unboxed, show you the menus on the screen, and then show you a sample video from the GoPro Hero 4K. So let's get this thing over the table and get it unboxed. The GoPro Hero 4K. Here's the box, and it looks like a pretty typical GoPro box. It's got the picture of the new camera on the front right there. Pretty slick looking camera. On the side, we've got features. So 4K, 30 frames a second, plus 2.7K, 60 frames a second. You got slow-mo mode, 12 megapixel photos. It's waterproof up to 16 feet. Lightweight, 86 grams, so it's pretty light. Built-in mounting fingers, like we'd see on a GoPro. You can use that with the GoPro mount. Embedded Enduro battery technology and a touchscreen and hyper smooth video stabilization, but you've got to use the Quick app to get that stabilization. It's not built into the camera. So this is talking about how you can edit your footage with the Quick mobile as well as desktop apps for iPhone, for Android. Nothing spectacular there. A couple of lifestyle photos showing this camera in use, but you can also see on these pictures how small the camera is. And then it's got a little list here of some of the stuff that is involved with that battery being built in. So instead of having a removable battery, you now have the battery built in. Most GoPros have a removable battery, so this is a big deal, but it also lets them keep the camera small. So let's get inside and see how small this camera is. All right, looks like we've got a rip strip on the bottom. Get that thing off, and let's open up this box. You've got a cardboard box and a cardboard container on the inside, a packaging form that we've seen from GoPro before. Opening it up, and it looks like we've got some literature. Your camera must be updated before you can use it. This is what happens when they ship out a gear that doesn't have final software on it. So I'm going to show you that process in just a second, upgrading the firmware here on the GoPro. Yeah, we've got some GoPro stickers. Classic GoPro stickers, gotta love that. Put them on your helmet. Subscribe to get the most out of your GoPro, trying to get us to subscribe to their email list. And then we've got, looks like some legal literature. If you've got questions, it doesn't look like an instruction manual so much as just kind of legal stuff. Does anybody actually read that? I don't think so. Inside the box, we've got a small USB-C to USB-C cable. Nice little short one. Always good to have those. It is GoPro branded, as you can see. And I've got a couple of accessory pieces here, as well as the camera itself. So let me pull everything out of this box. All right, so these are your classic GoPro mounts, right? If you've ever used a GoPro in the past, 10 years or something, you've seen this before. That's the mount. This will work if you have existing GoPro mounts on a ski helmet or a mountain biking helmet or whatever. You've got this little threaded piece that goes in the side. This has not changed. This has remained the same forever. And then you've got this piece. Now this is the piece that you would put, for example, on your helmet. It's got a piece of double-sided 3M tape on one side, and then on the other side is where you slide in that mount. If you're a GoPro person, you know how these things work. They slide in, they stay put. That's the whole idea here, and it's easy to get it in and out quickly. All right, finally, let's take a look at the camera itself, and we've got a piece of paper covering up the lens, so let's peel that. Always so rewarding. And there it is. This is a removable lens cover. They say it's a water repelling lens cover that you can replace with other lens covers as well. We've got some paper on the outside. We'll take this off, as well as some paper on the outside. And once again, your camera must be updated before you can use it. They really want to make sure you update that software. And look at that. There's that touch screen on the back, looking pretty good. And this is a tiny little GoPro camera. Again, they built the battery in, and that's what made it so they could make this thing much smaller than some of the GoPros you've seen before. But really a nice tight package. I like that design. The fins they have kind of on the front here. I'm not sure if that's like a heat dispersing thing or just a cool design, but either way, I like it. I want to give you a closer look at that design. Again, it's kind of like fins, almost looks like heat sink fins on the front. I think it looks pretty slick. On the top, we've got our standard shutter button. On the side, a little door here that opens up, not to reveal the battery. Again, the battery's built in. This is more so your ports. So what you've got is your micro SD slot for your memory card, and then a USB-C port for connecting this thing for charging up to your computer or your phone. On the bottom, you've got these fins that flip down to give you that GoPro mount, but then they flip back if you're not using it. Kind of cool, keeps it nice and compact when you don't have it connected to a mount. I really like this design they've been using with the fins lately because I don't always use my GoPros with a mount, and it's nice to have kind of a more compact GoPro when the mount's not being used. On the side, you've got a little kind of mode button there. We'll show you more about that in a little bit. And then back to the front, again, you've got that replaceable lens cover. And yeah, this looks like a very, very compact, typical GoPro camera. Now, powering this thing up, you've got language selection right when you power it up. So we're going to hit, it's a touch screen. Wait a second. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Okay. I got to hit the check mark. I'm sorry. My bad. All right. So legal stuff. Do I agree? Sure. Do I want voice controls on or off? I'm going to turn those off. I keep wanting to tap the selection, but you actually have to tap that check mark in the corner. So now it looks like it's going right to an update checklist. It can't do the update because it needs an SD card. So let me get that guy inside. This gives me a chance to show you guys how the SD card slides into that micro SD slot underneath the cover. I pop it in, I close the cover, and then now it looks like it's doing an SD card check once again. 300 megs of free space required, and now it jumps right to a QR code that it wants you to scan on your phone to get you into that GoPro Quick app to go ahead and do the actual update. So let's do that. All right, I've got my Google Pixel, and I will scan that QR code. I'm guessing it'll take me right into the Quick app, which I already have installed on my phone, and it says, let's get started. So they're going to need permission, of course, to access Bluetooth or whatever features they need, and looks like they've already found the GoPro, so I'll hit connect, and now it's going to connect my phone over to the GoPro. Looks like it's a Bluetooth connection. That was pretty easy. I will hit pair, and the GoPro's already beeping, so it sounds like it's already talking to the phone, and now the app shows that it's simply connecting. Okay, now it's connected, and it looks like it's letting me name the GoPro, so I'll stick with what it has, but I do want to add 4K onto this just so I know exactly which camera this is. Surprised it didn't suggest that to begin with. So it's changing the name of the GoPro. Of course, if you have multiple GoPros that you're using, you can give them each a unique name, so when you're using the app, you can identify between one camera to the other. And right away, it wants to install that update, so that's good. We will go ahead and do that, agree to that, and now it's connecting to the camera's Wi-Fi, and it's going to start that update process. After a couple of prompts, it's downloading the update, and this is actually zipping along. I'm surprised how fast this is, literally transferring the update in a matter of 15 seconds, maybe even less. After rebooting itself a couple of times, it looks like the camera update is now all set. So it wants me to connect to the cloud. I don't want to do that right now, but it says your Hero is ready. So here's the little notification about the in-app stabilization. The camera does not stabilize in the camera. Everything's done in the app, which is something that a lot of people love about the other GoPros, but you don't get that on this GoPro. Again, smaller size, a little bit of a cheaper price, and that's one of the features that's in the app, not in the camera. So in the app here, you can see some basic features. You got your Wi-Fi, you can look at your media, you can download the media over to the phone from the camera using your connection, and you can also do a preview here on the app of the camera itself. Let me enable this. So it's connecting to Wi-Fi, and the live preview may be unstable. That's never a good sign when they give you that warning, but you can see just in the app here, it's not a crystal clear connection by any stretch of the imagination. It's basically something you would use as a very rough preview. In fact, I imagine most people wouldn't be using this, but just wanted to check that out. So that feature is available in the app. Let me get back to the camera itself. Okay, so I want to show you the camera's interface, the menus, and kind of the basics of what's going on here. You see on the bottom, we've got slow-mo, video, and photo, and you switch those modes by sliding left or right on the entire screen itself, not by tapping those options. And that's actually pretty simple. You just go back and forth. There's only 3 options, and that's the only thing that a left and right slide will do on this camera. If you slide up from the bottom, it's going to show you your existing clips that are on this memory card. You can play them back. Very simple interface there. And then if you slide back down from the top, it'll take you back down to the main screen. If you slide down from the top again, now we get those menu options. I'm going to go over to menu section 1. Shows us how much space we have, and we have an option to tap on the card itself as well as the auto upload to Wi-Fi. So if I tap on the card, it wants to delete the SD media. I don't want to do that. And then again, this is for setting up cloud upload. I don't want to do that either. That'll only work if you have Wi-Fi, so just keep that in mind. Voice control on off. We've got orientation lock on off. We also have battery saver mode on off. We've got a screen lock on or off. We've got our beeps on or off. I like those. And then screensaver on or off if you want the screen to time out. And then finally, you've got a little section that shows you that the Quick app is connected via Bluetooth. You've got some more preferences in here. You've got, let's see, connections. So your wireless connections, you can manage those here in this menu, like your Wi-Fi and possibly your Bluetooth connection as well. But I only see Wi-Fi settings in here. And then in general, you've got the beep volume, you've got quick capture, you've got default mode, you've got auto power off if you wanted to turn itself off, and LED controls. And then you've got voice control section, you've got a display section, set the screensaver, set the brightness of the screen, and what else do we got here? Regional settings, that's just for setting where you live, your language, etc. You've got some date and time settings. These should be set automatically when you connect to the app, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. You've got some camera info, the serial number and the name of the camera, and you've got some regulatory information and a reset button. You can format the SD card here, you can factory reset the entire camera. Not a ton of options on this camera, to be honest with you. Simplicity seems to be the focus here. Not a lot of settings to change the resolution of the video, not a lot of settings to change much of anything. And maybe that's good because this is designed to be an uber simple, small camera that you turn on, you press record, and you just start going. I do want to point out the button on the side here. So the top button is your shutter button. The button on the side will switch between the different modes if you don't want to use the touchscreen, which is great. If you've got gloves on and you're outside in the snow, for example, you don't want to be putzing with the touchscreen. You want to just hit the button on the side so you can switch between modes. I also like that red LED. So even if the screen turns itself off, that red LED is going to blink, showing you that the camera is currently recording, which is great, again, if you're outside and you don't want to deal with the touchscreen or it's simply too bright to see the screen. So that's it. Not much more else you can do in the camera itself. It is designed to be super, super simple. Turn the camera on and start recording and just go. I do want to point out once again, I think one of the features that people might miss the most is that the stabilization is not built into the camera. You do have to download your clips from the camera into the app on your phone, and then the stabilization will be added to the video clip. The question is, what does that look like? So let's take a look at a sample clip from the camera with that stabilization applied. All right, so here it is, video coming from the GoPro. It's in my hand. It's definitely shaking a lot. In fact, you can see side by side here what it actually looks like versus the video coming from the GoPro camera. And I did take this video into the GoPro app on my phone and stabilize it. So what you're seeing is that stabilized video, again, not using stabilization in the camera, but using stabilization inside the GoPro app. You know, it is an extra step and it's going to be a pain for some people. So if stabilization is a priority for you, this might not be the camera for you. But otherwise, it's affordable, it's super small, and when you mount it to a helmet or something like that, you're almost going to forget it's even there. So that's what makes this one different. My full review is coming soon of the new GoPro Hero 4K. If you want to see that and other cool techie videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It also helps me grow here on YouTube. Tech it before you wreck it. I'm Kirk.